This is my grandma and grandpa's picture.
Which
There
grandma?
was their
Here's your grandma and grandpa.
grandma and grandpa Ritter. Grandma and grandpa. The oldest, Catherine. My mom, Frederica. Brother Edwin. But if you want to start from the oldest, she's the oldest. Fred. Jake, John, Christ, Carl, Frederica, William, Edwin.
Do you know about when this picture would have been taken?
In the 30s someplace.
In the 1930s?
Yeah. I don't think there was a... No. No, I just have that one there. You know, this here is pictures taken in Russia. That was Grandpa's sister had a bakery. She had a bakery. And that was her workers.
So this one, right to the left of the cake is his
Yeah.
sister. Which sister
Yeah.
is this, do you know?
You know, I don't even know.
Okay, can you read? Or know what any of that says up there?
No, I don't know what it says.
This sister never came over to
No,
the States?
never came over.
It's quite a bakery to have that many workers. Did your dad ever share any stories about this sister?
This was my grandpa's sister.
Or your grandpa's sister? Did you ever hear any stories passed down?
No.
So this picture's taken in Russia dates back
Right,
to 1800s.
The 1800s.
That's a great picture.
This is my mom's confirmation picture.
Which one in here is your mother? The second one. Okay. Do you know when she made her first confirmation? Or made this confirmation at all? I guess it would have been again early 1900s. She
Yeah,
made it.
because she was a baby when she came over, so. Did I write on that? 1912.
Perfect.
The Reverend wrote her name on here. Reverend Williams. I think they were all, that's the only three I have, Mom's and Edwin's and Carl's. I don't have Williams. This is Carl's.
And which one's Carl in here?
This one here.
Okay.
He threw his cap on me. He was a naughty one. You know, when he was supposed to go to school, he'd lay behind the hill until the kids walked home, and he walked home with them. And that's the one that Grandpa sent to college in Eureka. He wanted him to become a minister, but he became a drunk. And then he sold real estate.
So much for becoming a minister.
Yeah.
What church is this in the background?
That's the Lutheran church in town here, St. Luke.
Okay.
The old one, the old building.
And then, do you know the date? Or maybe it's written on the back again.
I don't know.
No, it's not written on the back. That's okay. We know it's Pastor John Williams, though.
Now, they were all Pastor Williams.
Oh. And now whose confirmation is this?
This is Edwin's, and he's there. And that's from by the church, too.
St. Luke's again.
But I don't have no names, no nothing. All them guys must be dead.
Was confirmation an important thing to your family?
Oh, yeah. Grandpa was, like I say, every morning, his Bible was all ripped apart by reading it all the time. This is a reprint. This picture is in a lot of places. And Grandma and Grandpa are sitting on the chairs here.
It's your grandma and grandpa.
Yeah, sitting on the chairs here.
And this is in front of the old church. Okay.
Well, a
Oh,
house.
no, it's just a house.
A house that was, they had church at a house. People and their children. Okay, we'll take the church. That's the church Grandpa helped build.
The Salem Lutheran Church.
Salem.
And where exactly was this located again?
That's 13 miles out. No, it's not 13. 10 miles out of town. You got to go about 5 miles west. Then you got to go maybe a mile north. And then you got to take another jog west, and that's where it's at. But it's not there anymore. They made it into a house. They sold it, and it's a house in town here now. But it was a nice church. It had a balcony. I liked the balcony.
Mm-hmm.
This is my grandma and grandpa here.
Which grandma and grandpa?
Ritter.
Do you know about how old they are in this picture?
That's the only one I knew. That was taken in 1940. My
Is
brother.
this your house behind it?
No, that's their house.
Okay, in town here?
Hmm. My brother John was just a baby when that was taken. This is that's Marion when she was a baby.
Uh-huh. Who are the other 3 children?
Ermeline, Alma, and Benjamin. And Alma spelled with an A. Alma, they sometimes say.
So this is actually your parents, even though it says grandma and grandpa Burlack.
Yeah.
It's actually your parents.
It's my parents, yeah. My sister-in-law wrote that on there.
Oh,
See,
okay.
like here I got my dad's discharge papers.
Now, was he drafted or did he volunteer?
He was drafted.
Wow.
He had to go over there and fight against his own people.
Well, and that's why I was wondering what they thought of it. What other people would have thought. If the men liked that or not, if they ever did talk about it. Did your parents just hang on to a lot of stuff? Is that why?
My mother was, she collected this stuff and kept it, you know.
Is that why you've also become a collector of
Sort of.
a couple of things?
And here, look, here's my dad's, where he got his salary.
Oh, from the
Army.
service?
Army.
$26.30 a month was his net pay.
And from that, you know, he borrowed some stuff to some guy, money to some guy. He had little notes, you know. Mother finally just tore them up. She says, they'll never pay, so she just tore it up. And this is a picture like,
Which one in here is your dad?
I don't know, they all look alike. But my Uncle Chris is in there too. And my mother's cousin Kelly, that the Legion is named after, Fred Kelly Post, down here is named after one of them guys. He was killed over there, he's buried over there. And this is the ship that my dad came over in.
Oh, an actual. Oh, you found a picture of it.
Yeah, my sister-in-law, somebody looked after that.
In 19.
Let me see that picture once again, that service picture. And this is the picture. That was my dad came over on that. And this is the one my mother came over in. Friedrich the Gross. That was the name of the ship. I don't know how come they didn't have the picture of the log on that one there.
That's unique. They did come via New Orleans.
See, like, open that one up once. How many steam stacks does that one have?
I just see the one.
Then it's got two. See, and they didn't come over on Ellis Island. They came over. He came over Baltimore, Maryland. They came over New Orleans. And my mother-in-law came through Quebec, Canada. That's another story. They all say, oh, they came all. I said, no. My mother-in-law came through Quebec, Canada, because her mother had glaucoma, and they couldn't go on a regular ship because she wasn't well. She had sore eyes. They had to go on a cattle ship. Cattle were on the bottom, and the people were on the top. And then they migrated down in the Dakotas.
Wow.
And her mother brought a dog along. They thought she had a lunch basket, carrying a lunch basket, but she was actually carrying the dog in there. And the dog was always content in that basket. At night, she would take him out to do his job, and then and put him back in the basket. And if he, she would, be quiet. And she fed him, in there. At nighttime, she'd take him out, he'd do his job, and then she'd put him back in there.
Wow.
Yeah. I should have brought one out from my Uncle Fred. Uncle Bellin. I had a nice picture. Oh, well, he's on here, so that's okay. Okay, this is his wife and their son when he was that age.
Do you know their names?
Yeah, Catherine Ritter Bellin and Theodore Edwin Bellin.
Just Belllen?
Bellon. Bellon.
Oh, Bellon.
Okay, this is pictures of my dad.
These are both your dad in his
Yeah,
World War I uniform?
Yeah. All we have left is his jacket. We don't even have his cap. I suppose, like my brother Ben, when he was a kid, he probably played with that and maybe lost the cap. And this is my dad's mother and father, yeah.
So who's this one?
That's my dad's dad, John Burlack, and his son Andrew.
Andrew looks only about a couple of years old here. And then
That is my dad's sister, Marie, and her son.
So this is the band that you just listened to? Or?
No, that is before I was even, I thought of. Are D. Wald, Edward P. Fifley, Carl Seiler, Joe Stabler, Jake Ritter, that's the uncle, John Richter, Irvin Nippel, Dave Richter, Carl Ritter, uncle, Fred Wolf, back row is Rome, I forgot it, Frank Rome, John Weber, Jacob Springer, Fred Thurn, Dr. Joe Turner, Fred E. Ackerman, Henry Hilscher, Edward Pressler, and Morris Dufferman, and George Foreman. That's an old band picture.
Who's this of?
This is my sister Mary, and she's just been home now. That's the only picture she has. And she said she went to an R&R, and this little Japanese guy took her picture. That's the only picture she has.
How old is she in this picture? About
24.
This is the only picture she has.
Of one with her uniform.
And now, why did she join the service?
Because we had no money to. She wanted to go to college.
She joined the army to go to college.
And she became an anesthetist in the Korean War and the Vietnam War. She doesn't talk much about it because she she says sometimes it's sad,
Being she was only about 2 years older than you, were you closer to her than your other sisters and brothers?
Yeah, we used to do a lot of stuff together, her and I. And then, of course, when she left, then it was Eileen, and I'm 6 years older than her. Well, see, she was born, my birthday is August 19, and hers is the 11th. And so I would have been 6 in the 19th, but she was born the 11th. But I still say I'm 6 years older than she is. But we were a lot, later. After she was gone, then her and I. Because when my husband died, I says, I'm moving in with you. Because her husband, mine died in April, or was it May? Forgot even the month. Well, anyway, and hers died in September. And then the next year I had an auction sale, and I said, I'm moving in with you. She didn't say nothing. We moved in. I took one bedroom, she took the other one.
Lived together again.
Yeah. Because when my mom remarried, she and I lived in Mom's house. She worked at Harris and I worked at the bank at Lair. And we cooked and ate and worked together. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
And that's Grandpa.
So
See, he always has a cigarette. Even on that other picture that I gave you, he's got a cigarette in his hand.
Is this his Russian uniform?
Yeah, he was a Russian. He was a higher up. I don't know what they called him then. He could read and write Russian. That's why he got all those good jobs.
These are your mom's cousins. What are their names?
Adam and Rose Notes.
Okay. You never met these?
Never met him. Well, see, maybe if the Ritter girls, see those, his kids, they do not communicate with us. I don't know why. We never did nothing to them. When their parents died, they came and stayed at our house and had the funeral here and everything. But after their folks were gone, they never pay no attention to us.
Who are these two gentlemen?
Okay. One is Jacob Mabel, M-A-Y-L-E or something like that, and Jacob Ritter. He became the electrician in town here, Jacob Ritter, a self-taught electrician. He wired up the new church of our St. Luke's. Of course, then, everybody says, we don't need so many outlets. Now we need all kinds of outlets. My nephew Jerry, he's been putting in outlets here and there and there. Everything gets more modern, more technical, and the speakers weren't good enough anymore and stuff. So he had to rewire a lot of stuff. Okay, this is Catherine Kelly and Rose Kelly and Ann Kelly, the sisters.
How are the Kellys related to you?
Through my grandma. Grandma was a Kelly.
Okay. Grandma on your mom's
side.
And they all came over to the United States as well?
Yes. And this is the wedding. We'll take a picture of the wedding.
Do you know whose wedding this is?
Yeah. Let me read it.
Okay.
John and Katie Wolfe. See, my mom went and married him after his wife died. My mom married him. That was her stepdad for a while, till he died.
August 1915.
I got a lot of pictures of Teddy. This is that one, and then that's the boy that I said,
Okay, we'll do the parents first. Then
Yeah.
we can go. So this is your favorite aunt and uncle.
right,
What are their first names again?
Catherine and John Bellin,
And that's their son Teddy in the back.
Teddy, Theodoria. That's my sister Ermeline, lives in New York. And that's her son that made that card.
Did all of you like this aunt and uncle the best, or were there...
She always brought us candy.
What kind of candy?
Any kind. She'd bring cookies or she'd bring candy. And something we never got, you know. Mom would buy us penny things, you know, penny candy. Maybe one a piece, or she'd buy one package of gum for 5 cents, and we'd each get a stick, or she'd have to share.
This aunt and uncle gave you the whole piece?
This uncle gave us the whole thing. Or she had little bottles of stuff. She would bring us the little bottles so we could play with them, you know.
Who's this?
Whole bunch of people. I'll have to read this
Okay.
on the back.
We can go ahead and read the back quick if
Okay.
you'd like.
Okay. It's Fred Flimmer, George Kelly, John Wolfe, Fred Kelly, Rose Kelly, Katie Kelly, and Louise Flimmer.
So kind of all distant relatives.
Yeah, and friends.
Yeah.
Like the Flimmers were just friends.
Is that typical clothing style for the early...
Yeah, that's
1930s
what
when
they
you were
wore.
a kid?
Yeah, that's what they wore.
Always black? Or would they wear white?
Pretty much dark.
Did they wear dark colors to church also?
Yeah.
What kind of clothes would you have worn in the field working or doing household chores?
Well, we had to wear dresses. That's true. We wore dresses. I can't figure it out. And finally, later when Ma had to climb the haystacks, we said, Ma, why don't you buy yourself some just men's slacks, you know, that you don't, you know, dresses? And she had to wear a girdle. She said, I got to wear the girdle, otherwise I feel like I'm falling apart. So she'd wear those slacks, you know, and on the haystacks. And a girdle.
Can't get rid of the girdle.
Under the girdle, yeah. Okay, these are my mother's cousins, Rose and Katie Kelly. I've got 2 of those. You only need one.
Did somebody have a camera take pictures, or did you go
I
to a
have
studio?
no idea
Okay.
who did these pictures. See, it's like postcards. It must be, you know, some. And that was my mom
Where's she at? Where's this picture taken at?
at Grandma and Grandpa's. They had a porch in front of their house.
Is she still fairly young in this picture?
Yeah, yeah.
She wouldn't be married in this picture. She looks like she's more of a child. Or is she married?
I think she wasn't married yet then when that was taken. This is Mr. and Mrs. Bellin's foster child and their son Teddy and their dog Spotty.
Was there a lot of foster kids in that time?
Yes, there were, and then some were all really naughty to their foster children. Some were nice and some were ugly. And then if the woman died, you know, and he remarried, some were nice, like Uncle John. He remarried, you know, 3 times. His 2 first wives, he had 3 children from his first wife, the oldest girl survived, and the 2 other ones died. Little Elsie and little John died. John was a baby, and Elsie was maybe a year or something old. And Ella was 3 or 4 years old when they died. And he remarried. And the next wife died too before they could have any children in the flu epidemic. Then he married the third one, and she already had children. She was from Ashley, and she had children, so he gave her to Mr. and Mrs. Ballin to foster, because those stepchildren were too naughty. They made her do all the chores all the time and blamed her for everything. And she says, he couldn't take that, blaming her for everything. Oh, here's the picture before he got married.
Again, foster.
Mm-hmm. Ella.
Girl.
Her name was Ella Ritter, and his name was John Ritter. Okay, put her on. That was my mom's friend.
Emma Weber?
Yeah.
Did you ever meet this friend, or was
Yes,
this
yes, yeah. She came to visit Mom when she lived in town here. Her husband was living. They were at the American Legion together all the time. And this was a school teacher that roomed with my mom, with Grandma and Grandpa and Mother when she was young. She was a.
You mentioned you had one older school teacher. Were they all older, or were they younger?
They were all older, well, older than me,
Well, were they all, 20s, or?
Well, yeah, because some of them had, like Art Gall, he had to go to the service. Irvin Miller had to go to the service. And then we had women. We had, like, Mrs. Arns taught for a while. Mrs. Gross from Bernstead taught for a while. Mrs. Connolly taught. That's the only. Well, before I went to school, there was a Mrs. Hohalter, too, but I didn't go to school. Then Marion was her, because Marion couldn't say the name Hohalter. She would say, Hochulter. My mom's friend, school teacher, Myrtle Tooley. They communicated quite often. They wrote letters together. Well, when she was still single, she was sweet on my mother's brother, Christ. But then she moved away and she met somebody else. She wrote Mom many letters, many, many letters. And I don't know, she had nothing but daughters when she got married. Her name was Myrtle Tooley Brown then. And she lived in Indiana, Evansville, Indiana. And this is my Uncle Bill. He was in construction, and that's where he was killed. In the 40s he was killed.
Did you get to know Uncle Bill?
Yes, he stayed with us every time he came. That would be his stopping off place. He'd come there and he'd stay and stay and stay till he had another job, and then he'd go to the job.
Did you like Uncle Bill?
He was a drunk.
So not as much.
Well, we kind of liked him. I mean, for a man, he wasn't mean to us kids. He liked us kids and stuff, but he was drunk. And we always had a wall-to-wall dryer when it was wash day upstairs, wall-to-wall, and Mother had hung up the underwear, like Grandpa's underwear and my dad's and my brother's. And he came home and he had a little bit too much to him. Came up the stairs and finally he started boxing those underwear. He thought that was somebody standing there. Oh, my brother Benny was sleeping, and Benny says, I almost fell out of bed. I had a laugh. He says, cut it out, it's underwear. In German, Hör auf, das ist ein Unterkleider. Oh. Yeah, in the 40s we had, I didn't know how our house could hold all those people. We had my sister and her husband, and they had one child. They lived in one room upstairs, and my brother and Grandpa, and when we got company like Bill, they slept in the other room, and us rest of us kids slept downstairs. We only had 2 bedrooms down there. I still don't know how we slept all in those 2 bedrooms because we made John sleep with Mom. He was young yet. And because I couldn't sleep with Mother. She slept in the bed and it was like,
Constantly moving.
yeah, it was just like, I can't sleep with Mom. It's like sleeping on the ocean. I said, I get seasick. So we slept in the, then when Ermeline and Dave came, when they had the furlough, they were in the other bedroom. I still can't see where Arlene, I, and Marion slept. I can't figure that out yet. Must have slept someplace because the rest of the guys had the upstairs and we had downstairs. And Ermeline and Dave had one bedroom and Ma and John had the other one. Where in the heck did Arlene and I sleep? I just can't remember that. Well, anyway. Well, this was Uncle Bill, and he was a little, So did Uncle Eddie until he found a wife. He never got married till Uncle Eddie found a wife, Wilda, in California. They found her in a what do they call those single clubs.
Oh.
Well, they had some, where the guys could go. And anyway, he met her, and then they had to separate because she went blind, and he didn't like that, and wasn't nice to her anymore because she couldn't see. Then he'd get mad, and anyway.
Who's in this picture?
Okay, that's Ella Ritter.
On the left?
Klaus. Ella, her maiden name was Ritter. Ella Ritter Klaus, and then Auntie Bellin, and Laverne Bellin, and Teddy Bellin.
Is this a wedding photo at all? Is that what
No,
she's like
they're
there?
just standing under the old apple tree. See that old school teacher? She had nothing but girls. There's a picture of. We won't tell you that. I'll just take that one from my favorite uncle. He was in the lumberyard business in Tappan, North Dakota, and he was in the lumberyard business in Lair, North Dakota, and then he became the postmaster.
Who are these two gentlemen?
Carl and Edwin Ritter.
This is Teddy on the left. Ella and John Ritter on the right. Who's
No,
the
no, no,
lead-
no.
No?
John Bellin.
John Bellin.
Bellone.
Can you go around and tell me who each?
Okay, Alma. Benjamin. Alma. Benjamin. Ermeline. My mom. Arlene. My dad. Me. Marion.
And John's still yet to come.
Yep.
Was this taken in your house?
No, that was taken over at Bellin's house.
Okay.
And this is my dad. And Mr. Bellin and Arlene.
Which one's your dad again?
Dada.
Oh, yeah, you can kind of see his
Yeah,
eye that he got.
yeah.
in
He
there.
always, when he wore a cap, he always sort of wore it to the side that you couldn't see the eye.
Is that Ben in the middle?
Ben. He was showing off his boots.
Who's the little one?
Arlene. And this was supposed to be a 4th-generation picture, but Julius is not there. So we stuck Arlene and John in there.
So Arlene and John.
And Gary Ritter, that's a grandpa.
Who's the little one there? That's
Ga-
John?
This is Arlene, this is John, my brother and sister, and this is second cousin Gary Ritter.
Okay.
And his grandfather, Fred Ritter. And this, Fred Ritter Sr. standing in the back.
That's quite a
So this is the same schoolhouse and the same kids, only on the other side of the schoolhouse. This is taken on the on the west side. This was taken on the east side, and that these two kids aren't on here because they're too young to go to school yet. It must have been a party or something, yeah, because they got to come to school. So I don't know which one you want to take, both of them.
Let's do both of them.
Okay. And that he was the teacher, Art Gall. And this was taken on one side of the schoolhouse too.
Okay. And now I know the one, that's you.
Mm-hmm. Marion, Ben, and Ermelie.
How did you like being in school with your brother and two sisters?
I don't know. It was all right.
Did you bring your lunch
Oh, yeah.
together?
We each had our own lunch bucket.
What would you bring for
Syrup
them?
pail. With syrup sandwiches.
You still like syrup sandwiches?
I haven't eaten any for ages. I've got syrup, and I like syrup and peanut butter together. Peanut butter wasn't bought too often, you know, because it was, you know. So Mother would sometimes put cream in the peanut butter to make it last longer, and syrup. And what was our treat was sardine sandwiches, but you could smell that all over the school. She'd, you know, take the fork and mash them up and put cream in to make it more, and then she'd make us sandwiches. Oh, they were good. I still like sardines.
I'm gonna go.
My mom had memorized that stuff on there to become a citizen of the United States.
Well, your mom technically wasn't born in the United States.
No, she was born over there, but she was a tiny baby. So she would have been a citizen even though she was only 9 months old when she got here. But being that she married a foreigner, she had to become a citizen.
Do you remember her telling you any stories about memorizing having to take this test?
Yeah, I was just a kid, you know, and then she said, I have to know this stuff, because otherwise I can't live in the United States. What the heck? I should have some more stuff. What am I doing? Oh, here is.
Did you pass the test on her first
I think so.
shot?
I think so.
Your dad would have had to have taken the test as well.
Yeah, they
You
both
just
had
don't
to.
remember him.
Yeah, I don't
He
remember.
just didn't talk about it.
He
as
didn't
much.
talk. He didn't talk about it. Here's a letter that we had transcribed. My niece in New York had a Russian lady translate this letter.
This is the letter that was sent to Russia or back from?
Back from Russia.
it's
And the
one-
lady because we couldn't read it, so she translated it for us.
So these are the actual
Yep,
immigration
yep,
certificates
yep. That's what.
for your mother and father.
Yep.
That's amazing. And here's your mother's. Was the test? The test was completely in English, so they had to
Yes.
learn
Yes.
some English.
Oh yeah.
Did your parents like learning English?
They had to. And my dad, he just loved to read stories. Like he would get the Country Gentleman. Remember that old magazine? Yeah, magazine, yeah. He would sit behind one of those lamps like this and read all the stories from page to page. You read that gentleman. And one time my mom went and threw it up before he was done reading it, and he got mad. I didn't see that, but my oldest sister said, I saw my dad mad once. And I saw my dad mad once too, but oh, I'm not going to tell about that.
Yeah. But now I know they had to learn English, but that doesn't mean he liked it. Did he? Or would he have
I don't see
preferred a
why
text
not.
book?
He never said anything. I mean, that I would know, you know.
Do you have your parents' obituaries?
My dad, this is my dad's.
This would be neat to see. Where it was your father. And why did he get such a large?
I don't know. He belonged to the American Legion all his life, since he, you know, Fred. Oh, my grandma was 76 when she died.
Okay.
And my grandpa was 90. These two are husband and wife. Died different times.
Oh, your grandma and grandpa Ritter.
Yeah.
If somebody died, did you guys talk about it as a family? About a funeral? About what had happened? Yeah.
Well,
Like people do today, you know.
I was just a kid, so the older people probably did, you know. Us kids weren't involved in much, you know. Because when they got company, we had a skedaddle, you know, because they wanted to talk. So, like Marion and I, we would go hike out to the pasture, up the big hill, you know, or something like that, just to be away.
Do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. This is when let me read it out loud once, this top part.
At the home of Mr. and Mrs. Frederick Ritter, north of town, on Tuesday of the week, occurred the marriage of their daughter, Rika, to Philip Burlack, and their son, Chris, to Sophie Frank, daughter of Mr. and Mrs.
There was a double
Jacob
marriage.
Frank. The young couples will make their homes on the farms north of town.
Yeah.
Wow. 1920.
That's Arlene and John when they were kids.
These are the two you often
Yeah, I had to stay home from school.
took care of.
Yeah.
Did you always have dogs?
Yeah, we had Scotty and Rover. We had them for a long, long time. Then we had Grandpa's dog, Rover. He was one of those short-haired dogs. And we would use him as a carrier, a note carrier. We'd tie a note to his collar. He was the only dog that had a collar. And we'd tie it for Uncle Fred and Aunt Margaret to come down. We'd pin it to his collar, and he'd run up there and scratch the door. They'd let it in to see that there was something on it. So they'd come down. We did that quite often. Sent the dog up with a note.
Wow. That's a well-trained pup. Wow.
Yeah, and that dang dog, Grandpa, he was a spoiled dog. He wasn't a lap dog. I mean, a house dog. He was nothing for cattle or something. So we'd give him to somebody. Yeah, that hund is nichts wert. You know, that dog's no good, no cattle dog. And we said, no, he's a house dog. We'd get him back again. And we traded him off so many times. Finally, we just gave up. And then he died of old age.
Yeah, it looks like he's posing for the picture.
Yeah, that's Scotty. That's the dog that got the foot in the trap. Benny used to trap rabbits for fur. He'd sell them, like get 25 cents a rabbit or something. Well, anyway, the dog got his foot caught in one, so they had to amputate it. So he hopped on free. He lived to the ripe old age till he passed away too. And this is one. That was when Arlene and John were still small too.
Is this the whole family?
No, Elma isn't on there.
So who do we?
This Marion and me and Mom, Arlene. John and Ermeline and Ben.
Oh,
Ben is sticking his hand.
over there.
Yeah, he went behind us. He was dressed in his overalls, you know, from manuring the barn. He says, "I'm too dirty to even be on the picture." And he went and snuck in back there, put his hand up. We couldn't have seen the dirt anyway on the picture, or the manure. Oh, funny.
Seems like he was kind of a little bit of a jokester.
Funny. And that's him with his prize bull. You know, FHA at school, he was great with FHA. So his dad gave him enough money to buy a purebred bull. Sure, he gets a purebred bull, we get nothing. I took the reprints of that. That was in 36 when they got the car.
That's your mom and dad again, standing in front of it.
Yeah. And that I took just before we traded it in for a 55 Fairlane. I saved up enough money to buy a Fairlane working at Herr Merck.
Before you were married, you had bought your own car? Kind of a independent woman there, buying your own car.
Yeah, I bought my own car.
That's great.
And then the Schlinker garage burnt down. My brother says, years later, my brother says, we should buy back that old 36 Ford. And I says, why? Just for remembrance. And then we said, well, the Schlinker garage burnt down. They had it parked in the back, you know, inside. Because it was 20 years old before or even older before we sold it, you know. And it's too late, burnt up when the garage burnt down. See, this is what I said. We had that stroller, and we had to take him out to the field for Mom to nurse. Don't write that down, though.
Did parents always have to breastfeed the kids? For how long would they do that?
About 6 months, maybe even longer, I don't know.
But that's what you hauled them out to the field?
Yeah, we hauled him out to the field, and he had a drink, and then we took him back again. Oh. And Arlene was the cat girl.
These are both Eileen. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the same person.
And we always had to put locks in our hair. Every Saturday night we had to put locks in our hair. And you rolled them up with rags. You ever know that? You take a piece of rag like this, and you hold it, and then you wound it around, and then you brought the end up and tied it. She slept on that. Rags in her hair. That makes locks.
Every Saturday night you had to get all ready for church Sunday?
Wash their hair and fix them. Oh, you got that? Look at this. Now this is Brother John. This was taken inside. Well, at that time we didn't have no flash. And that was taken on the cellar door outside.
Now you had kind of a funny story about him with your parents telling a little joke to your sister, or you're surprising your sister with them.
The one.
Can you tell that story again?
Well, she went to high school in Lair, first year high school, freshman, and on Saturdays or on Friday nights maybe he'd go and get her, and then he went Friday evenings when he knew the school was out, and he went over and he picked her up, and on our way home he says, "You have a baby brother," and my sister said, "You lie." And he says, "No, you have a baby brother." "You liar." He says, "Well, wait till you get home." Well, they got home. Sure enough, here he was, baby brother. She guessed he was a liar. Because my mom was quite heavy. You didn't know they were pregnant. There was just like a lady in town here. I worked at the store. None of us knew that this lady was pregnant. All of a sudden, here she comes with a baby. I said, "Whose kid have you got?" "Oh, it's mine." I said, "Well, where'd you have it?" "Well, in here." She was heavy set too. We didn't know she was PG, you know. When Arlene worked at the store, she said too, this lady came in and They knew she was pregnant, but she came in finally. She was carrying the baby, and she said, "I'm so embarrassed. I'm so old already. Here, look what I got." She held out the little boy, baby. And there's my brother John. Gee, I wonder how come I don't have the one with the dog. Shoot. Scotty was on one of them pictures with him. This I wish it would be like Ma and Pa Kettle's picture. Well, I wish the windmill would be in the background. But look, pitchfork. My mom always liked to go out to see the cattle.
Which two?
This is my dad. This is my Ben.
Still smoking.
He's smoking.
And is that?
I don't know which one it is. Must be one of them. I think it's my dad, because he's got a little bit of thing on the head, on his cap. You see it? This is my sister Marion in her confirmation class. I got a You don't want my confirmation class, do
Sure
you?
we do. Alright, so can you tell me what this picture is?
This is my confirmation picture.
And where are you in this picture? This?
Yeah.
There? Same pastor that had confirmed the rest of you all?
No, Reverend Doyne, he was the first one that came that year, his first class that he confirmed that year. I got the names here.
Oh. Names that go with. Oh, this is just all the girls though? In the front row?
Well, I suppose maybe the boys are in the back.
Okay. So there's all the girls. And those are all the boys. Would you guys have a confirmation party gathering afterward? Or would, okay.
Just have your picture taken and went home. This is John's. I should have had Arlene's. Well, that's okay.
When did they start putting robes on everybody for confirmation?
I don't know. I know we had to wear white dresses. And this is Arlene's.
And she's hiding in the back.
No, she's right there.
Oh, that's right. There's the front row.
Front row. This is my mom and Aunt Margaret. Look at Aunt Margaret. This just looks like Ma is saying a funny, and Aunt Margaret,
So that's your mom and that's Aunt Margaret.
Yeah. Okay, and this is all the us kids that was taken. The day my mom died.
Oh, wow.
We took that picture. We were all on here now. And now he's gone and he's gone and he's gone. So just 1, 2, 3, 4 left.
Wow. Can you give the names across again?
Yeah, Alma, Benjamin, Ermeline, Marion, Eileen, Arlene, John. Mom was into Leans.